As employers, we have many responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is towards our staff, our workers, when it comes to holiday pay. In this week's I Hate Numbers video, I'm going to outline why it's important to make sure you honour those obligations, and it's not just for the legal reasons, but there are actually good business reasons to do so. I'm going to outline just what holiday pay actually is, who's entitled to it, the outline of how we calculate it. I'll also give you a link to another video where I've covered this in much more detail here, but reinforcing why it's important that as employers, we need to make sure we honour the obligations. And unfortunately, in that landscape we operate in, that doesn't always happen. Hi folks, my name is Mahmood. I'm a business finance coach, author and accountant of the firm I Hate Numbers. And in over 28 plus years, I've helped thousands of business owners like yourself make more money, improve their financial literacy, improve their financial awareness, reduce their stress, reduce their tax liabilities and anxiety. What's not to love about that? And I'd love that for you as well. Shall we crack on with the video? First thing is, who is entitled to holiday pay? Now, the United Kingdom, as it would be for most countries around the world, holiday pay accrues, and it's the workers, effectively your employees, who are entitled to holiday pay. And entitlement, by the way, is a legal obligation, a legal entitlement. Freelancers, by the way, do not count. Directors can exclude themselves, by the way, from that unless they have a service contract. But effectively, anybody who is a worker, whether they're part-time, whether they're on 0 hours contract or a full-time worker, is legally entitled to holiday pay. The second thing we need to consider is what's the general mechanism for how we calculate holiday pay. Now, the magic multiplier for holiday pay is 5.6. So for example, if somebody works a 5-day week, that's classified as full-time, then over the year, they're entitled to 5 times 5.6, i.e. 28 days worth of holiday pay. Now within that, by the way, that can include bank holidays. That is your choice. Now, if somebody's working less than 5 days a week, they're a part-time worker, for example, let's say 3 days per week, then they're entitled to 3 times 5.6, effectively 16.8 days worth of statutory holiday pay during your year. If somebody's on a 0 hours contract, things might get slightly more complicated here. And therefore, what you have to do then, you have to average the working number of hours they've done over the last 52 weeks and use it as a base reference point. The essence is, folks, nobody is excluded if they're a worker from being legally entitled to get holiday pay. Now, a couple of more things I want to mention in terms of the calculations, and I'm going to focus on why it's necessary, why it's a must-do. You should honour your obligations. Unfortunately, as I said at the beginning of the video, there are many employers out there who will not honour those obligations. They could do this because they're not necessarily aware of the rules. They could do this because they've heard from Dave down the pub what the actual responsibilities are. And there are a few people who perhaps might be taking potluck and disagreeing with what the law says and not actually honouring their obligations there as well. Certain industries, it might be more rife. Certain industries, it's more settled. But whoever you are, remember, if you've got somebody who is a worker for you, part-time, student or otherwise, they are entitled to holiday pay. Now, effectively, there is no category of workers, as I said, who is not entitled to holiday pay. So what's the reasons why we should do that? Well, first and foremost, it's a legal obligation. If you do not honour that and somebody leaves from employment, by the way, they can go to a tribunal, they can instigate legal action against you, and therefore you would be liable to pay out the holiday pay plus any potential call costs that might come with that as well. The second thing, there could be an impact, a damage to your reputation. If you're seen to be an employer who doesn't honour their obligations there as well, that not only ruins your reputation, but it also shows a lack of integrity and it shows a lack of responsibility. In my experience, many employers who do not necessarily pay holiday pay will do that because they're not actually aware of the rules. They think it only applies to a certain category of worker and they're not necessarily clued up on that. They don't necessarily have the support systems in place to make sure they navigate that path correctly. There are other reasons why it's really important to make sure you honour your obligations, not just in holiday pay, by the way, folks, but in sick pay and other things that may be part of the contract you've got with your workers. Employers get a reputation for being good places to work or not so good places. If you want to recruit and retain talent, it's necessary to make sure you've got a good work culture that goes with it as well. Other things as well. Do not look at workers as commodities. They are there to help you generate value. They help to support you, what you do in your business. They're there to help deliver value services, provide infrastructure, and they are a valuable resource within your organization. So treat them well. Workers need to take time off. We all need to take time off to recharge our batteries, to re-energize, to come back feeling fresh. If a worker takes time off, know that they're going to get paid for that, then that's obviously going to be a good thing. It benefits you, it benefits them. It's a win-win situation overall. And don't forget, by the way, holiday pay is tax deductible, so that certainly from the tax efficiency point of view, it makes sense as well. Now, a couple of caveats, folks, before we bring this video to a conclusion. Number one, there is still the old practice of what I call rolled up holiday pay. So some companies will have an hourly rate or a monthly rate or weekly rate, and they say within that rate of pay is your holiday. That is not actually allowed and it's not permitted. So if that is already in your contract, make sure those contracts are renegotiated, make sure those contracts are restructured. Secondly, if you're finding it difficult and mind-blowing to actually calculate the holiday entitlement, well, check out the show notes here, by the way. I'll give you a link to our holiday calculator, which works out those numbers for you. Thirdly, do not look at things as an obligation that it's a burden, it's a drag. If you do have workers, you need to make sure you invest in workers. You need to make sure you look after your workers. Your workers will help generate value, keep your business going, and to deliver, ultimately, your why. Treat them well, and they will treat you well in return. Folks, I hope you found this video useful. If you've got any questions, obviously drop them in the comments box. I'll do my best to answer them all, as I answer all the queries. If you've got a topic that you'd like me to talk about on the I Hate Numbers YouTube channel, then by all means, let me know and I'll be happy to cover that. We can put that in our content plan going forward. And if you need any help with your payroll, then obviously you know what to do. Drop us a line, arrange a call, and we can see how we can help you. Until then, have a fantastic week, folks.